Speaking English in a one-on-one conversation is one thing, but speaking in front of a group or participating in discussions with many people can be challenging. You might feel nervous, struggle to express yourself clearly, or worry about making mistakes. However, with the right techniques, you can overcome these challenges and build confidence in group conversations. Below is a detailed explanation of each tip to help you communicate effectively with multiple people in English. 1. Build your confidence. First, before you start speaking to many people, you need to feel comfortable speaking English in general. Confidence is key because if you hesitate too much, it will be harder to participate in group discussions. How to build confidence. Start with one-on-one conversations. If you're nervous about group conversations, practice speaking with one person first. Find a friend, language partner, or tutor to help you gain confidence. Practice in front of a mirror. Stand in front of a mirror and talk about any topic in English. Observe your facial expressions, body language, and pronunciation. This helps you become more comfortable with how you sound. Record yourself. Speaking. Recording your voice and listening to it can help you recognize areas where you need improvement. Try to sound natural and speak at a normal pace. Why? This is important. Confidence makes a huge difference when speaking to many people. If you feel comfortable speaking English in small settings, transitioning to larger groups will be much easier. 2. Improve your listening skills. Listening is just as important as speaking, especially in group discussions where multiple people are talking. If you don't understand what others are saying, you won't be able to respond effectively. How to improve listening skills. Watch English talk shows, podcasts, or debates. Shows like TED Talks, panel discussions, and group podcasts can help you understand how native speakers communicate in groups. Listen for the main idea. Don't try to understand every single word. Focus on the general meaning of the conversation. Practice with different accents. English is spoken with different accents around the world. Listening to a variety of accents will help you adapt to different speaking styles. Why? This is important. If you improve your listening skills, you can follow group discussions more easily and respond appropriately. This will make you feel more confident when speaking. 3. Think in English, not in your native language. One major reason people struggle to speak English fluently is that they translate from their native language. This takes extra time and makes speaking more difficult. How to train your brain to think in English. Describe your daily activities in English. For example, if you're cooking, think, "I need to cut the vegetables," instead of translating from your native language. Use simple words. First, don't try to use complicated words in the beginning. Express your ideas using easy vocabulary and gradually expand your language skills. Practice thinking in English with a timer. Set a timer for 1 minute and try to think only in English. Gradually increase the time as you improve. Why? This is important. If you think in English, your speaking speed will improve, and you won't hesitate when talking to a group. 4. Learn useful phrases for group conversations. When speaking with many people, it helps to use common phrases to participate in discussions naturally. Essential phrases for group conversations. Starting a conversation. "Hey everyone, I'd like to share my thoughts on this." "Can I add something here?" Agreeing with someone. "I totally agree with you." "That's a great point." Disagreeing politely. "I see your point, but I have a different perspective." "I understand what you mean, but I think differently about this." Asking for opinions. "What do you guys think about this?" "Does anyone else have a different opinion?" Adding a point just to add to that. "I'd like to share an example related to this." Why? This is important. Using these phrases will help you enter conversations smoothly and sound more natural in a group discussion. 5. Focus on clarity, not perfection. Many English learners hesitate to speak in groups because they worry about making mistakes. However, fluency is about communication, not perfection. How to speak clearly and confidently. Speak slowly and clearly. You don't need to rush. Speaking at a steady pace helps people understand you better. Use simple words if you feel nervous. Don't try to impress others with difficult vocabulary. Simple, clear sentences are better. Don't be afraid of mistakes. If you make a mistake, keep going. Most people will understand what you mean. Why? This is important. The goal of speaking English is to communicate your ideas, not to be perfect. Clarity is more important than speaking without mistakes. 6. Engage in group discussions regularly. You can't improve if you don't practice. Find opportunities to speak English in group settings. Ways to practice. Speaking in groups. Join English speaking clubs. Many online and local clubs allow you to practice group discussions. Participate in online discussion forums. Websites like Reddit, Facebook groups, and language exchange platforms offer group discussions. Attend public speaking or debate clubs. If you're serious about improving, joining a debate club can be a great way to practice structured discussions. Why? This is important. The more you expose yourself to group discussions, the more confident you'll become when talking to many people. 7. Control your nervousness. It's normal to feel nervous when speaking in front of many people, but you can manage it. How to stay calm. While speaking, take deep breaths before speaking. This helps you relax and focus. Use gestures and eye contact. This makes you look more confident, even if you're nervous inside. If you forget a word, keep talking. Instead of stopping, explain the word in another way. Why? This is important. If you learn to manage your nervousness, you will be able to speak confidently, even in large groups. 8. Practice active participation. To be part of a group discussion, you must actively participate instead of just listening. How to engage in group conversations. Ask follow-up questions. This shows that you're paying attention and keeps the conversation going. Use non-verbal cues, nodding, smiling, and using hand gestures help express agreement or interest. Don't wait for someone to ask you to speak. Jump into the conversation naturally when you have something to say. Why this is important. Active participation makes you a better speaker and helps you feel more comfortable in group settings. 9. Use technology to practice. There are many tools that can help you practice English in a group setting. Best technology tools for practice. Checkmark AI chatbots. Talk to AI assistants to practice speaking. Voice-to-text apps. These help check pronunciation and fluency. YouTube and podcasts. Repeat and mimic native speakers to improve fluency. Why? This is important. Technology can make practicing English more interactive and convenient. 10. Be patient and keep practicing fluency. In group conversations doesn't happen overnight. The key is consistent practice and a positive mindset. Don't compare yourself to others. Focus on your progress. Celebrate small improvements in your speaking ability. Keep challenging yourself with new speaking opportunities. Advanced tips and tricks to talk to many people in English. If you want to become more confident in group conversations, you need to go beyond basic speaking skills. Here are some advanced techniques that will help you speak naturally, engage with multiple people, and manage group discussions like a pro. 11. Learn to handle interruptions and overlapping speech. When talking to multiple people, interruptions are common. Others may talk over you or start speaking before you finish. It's important to stay calm and politely handle interruptions. How to deal with interruptions. Pause. Instead of stopping completely. If someone interrupts you, pause briefly and then continue speaking. This shows confidence. Politely regain your turn. Use phrases like, just to finish my point, I'd like to add something before we move on. Allow others to speak, then jump back in. If the discussion moves forward, wait for a natural pause and say, going back to what I was saying earlier. Why? This is important. Handling interruptions smoothly helps you stay in control of the conversation and ensures your voice is heard. 12. Use storytelling to make your conversations more engaging. People love listening to stories. Instead of giving short answers, share experiences, examples, or personal stories to make your speech more interesting. How to use storytelling in conversations. Instead of saying, I had a bad day, say, you won't believe what happened today. First, I missed my bus, then I spilled coffee on my shirt, and finally, I got caught in the rain. Why this is important. Storytelling makes you a more engaging speaker and helps people stay interested in what you're saying. 13. Adjust your speaking style. Based on the group. Every group has a different dynamic. Some are formal, meetings, debates, while others are casual, friends, social events. How to adapt your speaking style. In a formal setting, speak clearly and professionally. Use structured sentences. I believe that one important point to consider is, in an informal setting, speak naturally and use contractions. Hey guys, what do you think about? Why? This is important. Adapting your speaking style helps you fit into different conversations and communicate effectively. 14. Be mindful of your body language. Speaking isn't just about words. Your body language also matters. If you look nervous, others may not take you seriously. How to use positive body language. Maintain eye contact. Look at different people in the group, not just one person. Use hand gestures. Express yourself naturally without overdoing it. Keep an open posture. Avoid crossing your arms or looking down, as this makes you seem unapproachable. Why this is important? Confident body language makes you appear more engaging, even if you're nervous inside. 15. Learn to handle fast conversations. When many people are talking, the conversation moves quickly. If you struggle to keep up, don't panic. How to keep up with fast conversations. Listen for keywords. Instead of trying to understand every word, focus on important phrases. Repeat a part of what was said. If you're unsure, repeat part of what someone said before responding. Example. So you're saying that the new policy will affect sales? Ask for clarification if needed. If you don't understand something, say, could you explain that in a different way? Why? This is important. Learning to keep up with fast conversations makes it easier to participate in discussions without feeling lost. 16. Know how to end your turn smoothly. In group discussions, it's important to finish your speaking turn naturally so others can respond. How to end your turn. Summarize your point. Example. So in short, I think we should focus on quality rather than speed. Invite others to speak. Example. That's just my perspective. What do you guys think? Why? This is important. Ending your turn smoothly keeps the conversation flowing and shows that you're an active participant. 17. Handle disagreements. Politely. In a group, people will have different opinions. Disagreeing politely helps you avoid conflicts and maintain good conversations. How to disagree respectfully. Acknowledge the other person's point. Example. I see your point and I respect your opinion. Express your view calmly. Example. However, I have a different perspective on this. I think. Stay open to discussion. Example. That's interesting. Can you explain why you think that? Why this is important. Being respectful during disagreements makes people more likely to listen to you and engage in meaningful discussions. 18. Improve your pronunciation and intonation. In group conversations, clear pronunciation helps you sound more confident and understandable. How to improve pronunciation. Practice tongue twisters. Helps with difficult sounds. E.g., she sells seashells by the seashore. Listen and imitate native speakers. Try repeating sentences from movies or TV shows. Use online pronunciation tools. Websites like Youglish help you hear real-life pronunciation examples. Why? This is important. Good pronunciation makes it easier for people to understand you, especially in noisy or fast-paced conversations. 19. Use humor to connect with people. A little humor can make conversations more enjoyable and help you connect with others. How to use humor in group conversations. Share lighthearted stories. Funny experiences are great conversation starters. Use playful jokes, but be respectful. Friendly jokes make conversations more engaging, but avoid controversial topics. Laugh at yourself. If you make a funny mistake, laugh it off. Example: Oops, I just created a new English word. Why? This is important. Humor makes you more likable and helps you engage with people in a fun way. 20. Keep expanding your vocabulary. To express yourself better, you need a wide range of vocabulary. How to expand your vocabulary? Learn synonyms. Instead of always saying, "That's good," try, "That's excellent, amazing," or "fantastic." Use new words in conversations. Don't just memorize words. Use them. Read and listen to advanced English content. Books, news, and interviews expose you to new words. Why? This is important. A strong vocabulary helps you sound more fluent and express your ideas more clearly. Final thoughts. Keep practicing and enjoy the process. Talking to many people in English is a skill that gets better with practice. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every conversation is a learning opportunity. Start with small groups and gradually move to bigger discussions. Stay confident, even if you make mistakes. Engage with people, ask questions, and enjoy speaking English. Hello, my dear friends. My name is Alex. I want to share my journey of learning to speak in English with many people. A few years ago, I was just like you. I understood English, but when I had to speak in front of others, my mind went blank. One day, my teacher asked me to introduce myself in front of the class. I stood up, my heart was pounding, and my hands were shaking. I knew what I wanted to say, but the words wouldn't come out. I stammered, paused, and finally, I sat down feeling embarrassed. My classmates looked at me with sympathy, but I felt like a failure. After that day, I decided I had to change. I wanted to speak fluently in front of people without fear. So, I started practicing every day. At first, I spoke to myself in the mirror. I imagined I was in front of an audience and practiced introducing myself. It felt strange, but it helped me get used to hearing my own voice in English. Next, I started talking to my friends. I asked them to listen to me as I spoke in English. At first, I made mistakes, but they encouraged me. They told me it was okay to make mistakes because that's how I would learn. Then, I joined a small English speaking group. We met twice a week and everyone had to speak only in English. The first few sessions were difficult. I hesitated a lot and felt nervous, but as I kept speaking, I became more comfortable. I realized that people were not judging me. They were there to learn, just like me. One of the biggest turning points came when I attended a public speaking workshop. The trainer gave me an important tip. When speaking to a group, focus on your message, not on yourself. That changed everything for me. Before, I was always worried about how I sounded, but now, I started thinking about what I wanted to say. Over time, I improved. I started speaking at small events, then bigger gatherings. I stopped worrying about making mistakes and focused on expressing myself. Now, I can speak in English to a large audience without fear. So, my dear friends, if you want to talk to many people in English, here's my advice. Practice speaking every day. Talk to yourself, your friends, or even record your voice. Join a group or a club. Surround yourself with people who also want to improve. Don't be afraid of mistakes. They are part of learning. The more you speak, the better you get. Focus on your message, not on yourself. When you concentrate on your ideas instead of your fear, you become more confident. Keep pushing yourself. Start with small groups, then move on to bigger audiences. After gaining some confidence in speaking English with my small group, I decided to challenge myself even more. I knew that if I wanted to become truly fluent and comfortable speaking in front of many people, I had to put myself in situations that made me uncomfortable. So I set a new goal: to speak at a large public event. One day I saw an announcement for a local seminar where participants could share their experiences on learning new skills. It was an open mic event, meaning anyone could step up and talk. My heart raced as I read the details. I wanted to do it, but at the same time, I felt afraid. What if I forget my words? What if people laugh at my mistakes? What if I freeze on stage? All these thoughts filled my mind, but then I remembered something my mentor once told me. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is taking action despite the fear. So, I signed up. The days leading up to the event were nerve-wracking. I practiced my speech in front of the mirror, recorded myself speaking, and even asked my friends to listen and give feedback. No matter how much I practiced, though, the fear was still there. But I'd come too far to back out now. Finally, the big day arrived. I stood backstage, watching other speakers confidently address the audience. My turn was coming, and my heart was pounding. My hands were sweaty, and for a moment, I thought about running away. But then I took a deep breath and reminded myself, I have prepared. I know what I want to say. I just have to speak from my heart. When my name was called, I stepped onto the stage. The bright lights made it hard to see the audience clearly, which was actually a relief. I took another deep breath, smiled, and began, Hello, my dear friends. My name is Alex, and today I want to share my journey of learning to speak English with confidence. At first, my voice was a little shaky, but as I continued, I started feeling more comfortable. I focused on my message rather than my nervousness. I shared my struggles, my embarrassing moments, and my victories. I even made a few small jokes, and to my surprise, people laughed. That gave me even more confidence. When I finished, there was a brief silence. For a second, I thought I had failed. But then, the audience started clapping, loudly. Some people even stood up, cheering. I couldn't believe it. I had done it. I had spoken in English in front of a large crowd without freezing, without forgetting my words, and most importantly, without fear. After the event, many people came up to me. Some told me they had the same fear and that my speech had inspired them. Others asked for advice on how they could improve their own English-speaking skills. At that moment, I realized something important. Speaking in English is not just about knowing the right words or perfect grammar. It's about connecting with people. It's about expressing yourself with confidence and sincerity. That day changed everything for me. I no longer feared speaking in English, no matter how many people were listening. I kept challenging myself, joining more events, leading discussions, and even helping others overcome their fear of speaking. So, my dear friends, if you are struggling with speaking English in front of many people, remember this. Fear is normal, but don't let it stop you. Prepare, practice, and believe in yourself. Your mistakes don't define you. Your confidence does. Speaking is about connection, not perfection. Every time you speak, you improve. If I can do it, so can you. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and one day you'll look back and realize how far you've come. After that unforgettable day, my confidence grew stronger. I no longer hesitated when speaking in English, even in front of a large audience. But my journey wasn't over yet. I wanted to keep improving, keep challenging myself, and most importantly, help others who face the same fear I once had. One evening, while scrolling through social media, I saw a post about a language exchange event in my city. It was a gathering where people from different countries and cultures came together to practice speaking English. The idea excited me, but a small part of me still felt nervous. Speaking in front of an audience was one thing, but engaging in conversations with strangers from different backgrounds, that was a new challenge. I decided to go. When I arrived at the venue, I saw people talking, laughing, and exchanging stories. Some were fluent, while others were just beginning their English speaking journey. A group of people welcomed me, and soon I was engaged in a conversation with a man from Japan, a woman from France, and a student from Brazil. At first, I was cautious with my words, afraid of making mistakes. But then I remembered my own advice. Speaking is about connection, not perfection. So I relaxed and just spoke. I listened carefully, responded with confidence, and even helped others with their English. To my surprise, the conversations flowed naturally. It felt amazing to connect with people from different parts of the world, just through language. By the end of the night, I had made new friends and realized something powerful. Speaking English with many people is not just about confidence, it's about learning, sharing, and growing together. After that experience, I started attending more events. I joined debate clubs, participated in online discussions, and even created a small group where people could practice speaking English in a friendly and supportive environment. The more I spoke, the better I became. One day I received an invitation to speak at a university seminar about overcoming the fear of speaking English. I couldn't believe it. Just a few years ago, I was the one struggling to say a simple sentence in front of my class. And now, I was being asked to inspire others. On the day of the seminar, I stood on the stage, looked at the audience, and smiled. I could see the nervous faces of students who were just like me before, afraid, unsure, and hesitant. I took a deep breath and said, "Hello, my dear friends. I know exactly how you feel, because I was once in your place. But today, I want to show you that you can overcome your fear and speak English with confidence." I shared my journey, my struggles, my failures, and my victories. I told them about the first time I froze in class, the nights I spent practicing alone, the fear I faced before stepping onto the stage, and the moment I finally spoke without fear. By the end of my speech, I could see the change in their eyes. They were inspired. Some came up to me afterward, thanking me and asking for advice. At that moment, I realized that my journey wasn't just about me. It was about helping others believe in themselves. Since then, I have continued to speak, teach, and encourage people to practice English without fear. I always remind them that making mistakes is part of the process and that confidence comes from continuous practice and experience. So, my dear friends, if you are still afraid to speak English in front of many people, let me tell you this. Start small, but start today. Talk to yourself, your friends, or even your pet. The more you speak, the better you get. Join conversations. Whether it's a language group, a debate club, or an online community, surround yourself with English speakers. Don't fear mistakes. Every mistake is a step toward improvement. Learn from them and move forward. Believe in yourself. Confidence doesn't come from speaking perfectly, it comes from speaking with courage. Enjoy the journey. Learning a language is not just about grammar and vocabulary, it's about making connections, sharing ideas, and growing as a person. After that seminar, my journey of speaking English in front of many people took a new turn. I started receiving invitations to speak at different events, some in schools, some in language learning groups, and even some online conferences where people from different countries joined to listen. At first, I couldn't believe it. Me? The same person who once hesitated to even introduce himself in English? Now, people were looking up to me for advice and inspiration. It felt surreal. One day, I got an email from an international language learning community. They were hosting a global webinar on how to overcome the fear of speaking English, and they wanted me to be one of the speakers. The idea excited me, but at the same time, I felt a familiar nervousness creeping in. This time, however, I knew how to deal with it. Instead of doubting myself, I reminded myself of everything I had learned. Speaking is not about perfection, it's about connection. So I accepted the invitation. The webinar had participants from over 50 countries, people from different backgrounds, different native languages, and different learning levels. As I saw the list of attendees, I realized something powerful. English was not just a language, it was a bridge that connected people across the world. When it was my turn to speak, I smiled and began, "Hello, my dear friends. If you're here today, it means you want to speak English with confidence, and let me tell you, you absolutely can. I know this because I was once afraid just like you. But today, I want to share with you how I turned that fear into confidence." I shared my story again, from the nervous student who hesitated to speak in class to the person standing in front of them now. I talked about my struggles, the mistakes I made, and the lessons I learned. And then I gave them a challenge. Right now, I want you to do something simple. Take a deep breath and say one sentence in English. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just say it out loud. At first, there was silence. Then, one by one, people started speaking. Some said their names, some said where they were from, and some said simple phrases like, "I want to learn English," or "I am not afraid anymore." I smiled as I listened. See, you just did it. You just spoke English in front of people from all over the world. And guess what? Nobody laughed at you. Nobody judged you, because we are all here to learn and grow together. By the end of the webinar, I received hundreds of messages from participants saying how much my words had encouraged them. Some said it was the first time they had ever spoken English in front of others. Some said they had been afraid for years, but were now ready to practice. And at that moment, I realized my journey had come full circle. I was no longer just someone who overcame the fear of speaking. I was now helping others do the same. Since then, I have continued speaking, sharing, and encouraging more people to believe in themselves. I have met learners from all over the world, each with their own fears and struggles, but all with the same dream: to speak English fluently. So, my dear friends, let me tell you one last thing. If you are still afraid to speak English in front of many people, remember this: fear is just an illusion. The moment you start speaking, the fear begins to disappear. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself. Because one day, you won't just be speaking English fluently, you'll be inspiring others to do the same. And that, my friends, is the real power of language. Thank you for being part of my journey. Now go out there and speak with confidence.